Lost Time by the Squeakers. Chapter 5 Flight. Bang! Eep! Squeaked Fluttershy as he woke up to the sound of Spike's alarm clock, dutifully sounding 7 a.m. Slowly, as he peeked her nose out from under the sheets, Dan enveloped her, as he realized that it was only an alarm clock. After lightly tapping the button to stop the cacophony, as he wandered out of Spike's study, slightly dazed and confused. Oh my, he mumbled as he recognized what day it was. I must have dozed off when Verity. Please, just 5 more minutes. Verity moaned from the couch in the lobby, barely lifting her head from the wet spot on the pillow. Next to her on the table was a set of floating horseshoes, the fruits of her long hours of labor. Fireside quickly floated down to the lobby of the library and gently shook Verity. Verity, it's time to get up. I mean, if you're ready. We have a big day today. Verity simply snored and rolled over, sinking herself deep into the cushions. Well, okay. I guess we can wait a little. But remember, we have to leave bright and early to go find little sweetie. Verity bolted up with a snort, eyes bloodshot, white as soldiers. Oh my goodness, Sweetie Betty! She shouted, staring into the butter yellow Pegasus. Verity jumped off the couch and raced around the room, grabbing supplies and stuffing into a bag. Where? Squeaked the poor frightened mare audibly. We're late. We absolutely must leave right now! Verity frantically shouted, barely enough time to grab a brush and splash water to her sleep-encrusted face. But, Verity... No time! Rarity shouted, grabbing a rub and fastening it into Rarity's face like reins. Rarity is on it! First I tried to speak through her gag and tears, but no avail. The maniac pony was too frantic to notice. Yeah! Rarity hollered, cracking the reins to her command from the posts on the couch. Fluttershy squeaked in fear, darted under the table, shaking uncontrollably and crying. She held her hoods over her head, assumed protection from being startled further. However, after a minute's silence, Fluttershy cautiously poked her head up from the wooden shield, see that Rarity was sound asleep, sprawled out on the couch with her hooves still clutching the reins. She came out from under the table and walked up to Rarity, curious and fearful as to whether she would try to wake her again or just let sleeping ponies lie. Obviously, she chose the latter. Rarity only awoke a couple of hours later to the smell of herbs and daisy petals coming from the kitchen. The lobby of Twilight's library was a mess. Sets of horseshoes, pillows, and travel supplies littered the floor. A curious rope led from the foot of the couch to just beneath the table. Rarity's mane didn't fare better. It was tangled and tasseled in every direction. She wiped the dry crust from the side of her mouth where saliva had managed to leak from an ungodly manner known as drooling. This was what Rarity would refer to as the complete opposite of a beauty sleep. Rarity began to make her way towards the kitchen, the enticing aromas luring her over. As she entered the doorway, Fluttershy turned to meet her eyes. Suddenly, she dropped the wooden spoon she was holding and ducked away behind the counter. Are you awake, Rarity? She squeaked out, eyes just peeking from over the counter. Why, of course, Fluttershy, darling, Rarity said, placing her friend in fear. Oh my, is it my coiffure? She asked, frantically patting her mane. I didn't mean to scare you, darling. Fluttershy breathed out a sigh of relief, and she floated up from behind the counter. Oh, that's a relief. It's just that earlier, well... Is there something bothering you, dear? Rarity asked innocently. It's nothing. All right, Fluttershy. Then I see you are cooking, Rarity said, quickly shifting the conversation. May I ask what the delectable aroma is? Oh, just a little breakfast before we go to Cloudesdale. I thought you might feel better with a full stomach. Oh my, that's right! Rarity exclaimed. I got so caught up in my work that I must have dozed off. What time is it now? 9:30. It should take 2 hours to get there if we leave by 10. We should get there with time to spare. Fluttershy explained. She turned her attention back to the cooking meal. Breakfast is ready now. Would you like to come and eat with me? I mean, if you are hungry. Starving, Rarity chimed. Fluttershy, your cooking skills are quite a feat. That was the most delicious meal I've had in, 15 years, Rarity joked. Oh no, you must be starving. I can make more if you want, Fluttershy offered, as he quickly reached for the pan that was just put away. Oh no, dear, I was merely joking. Thank you for the meal. We should be probably on our way. Fluttershy nodded as he headed out back to the library. The fare for their journey out was a small wagon, one Fluttershy often used to transport her animal friends. All right, Fluttershy, are you sure you can do this? Rarity asked one final time.
Yes, well, I think I can, she mumbled. I mean, I carried my speaker glass before.
Rarity gave her a firm nod, before quietly leveling her old wagon wooden cart. Carefully, the cart had been seen better days. The wear on the wood had whittled it down to considerably from its original state. One of the wheels was crumbling where termites had eaten away with it. Of course, Firefly wasn't a pony to try and stop them. She was probably lucky there was even a cart left, but despite all the wear and tear, the wagon was sturdy. It didn't wobble or creak as Rarity got in, and it wasn't like it needed wheels or where they were going. Fluttershy quickly harnessed herself to the yokes of the cart, tying the straps to her waist.
Okay, Rarity, are you all ready for this?
She asked. I'm ready when you off, let's die, Rarity called out. Fluttershy gave her wings a fierce flap, fanning the leaves and snow out from under them. Only to lose confidence as she felt herself lift up too fast. Just as quickly as she lifted up, her wings tightened against her body as she fell back down with a loud thump.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Rarity,
She managed to say.
I'll try harder, I promise.
With a light struggle, she finally flared her wings in preparation for a liftoff. Slowly, she began to flap her wings until she was able to lift the cart along with Rarity's weight and hover for a moment. After she had gained enough confidence, she began to head off into the direction of Cloudsdale. Right as she began to near the outer limits of Ponyville, the weather became increasingly thick. Just as snow and ice buffeted the ponies, causing them to wince in pain. The temperature had dropped considerably since they had left. What Rarity didn't know was that most of the larger towns and cities were kept safe from the constant blizzards, only to get help from the weather teams, but from unicorn magic as well. Before long, Fluttershy couldn't proceed any farther. Her only option was to ascend high above the cloud cover if he wanted to make it to Cloudsdale.
Rarity!
She shouted through the wind.
We have to go up. It's going to get much colder and the air is thinner. Please, save your breath.
Fluttershy flapped her wings as hard as she could, her friend's safety at stake, as she continued to fly higher and higher into the sky. She could feel the tips of her wings begin to ice over as her breath became shorter. Partly from the thinning air, partly out of instinct, she flapped harder and harder, desperate to break through the clouds. Finally she burst through, feeling the ethereal warmth and glow of the luminous moon out in front of her. Quickly she fluttered her eyelids, flicking out shards of ice from her eyelashes. As her eyes flared open, she caught a glimpse of the moon, now closer than she had ever witnessed it before. It consumed the night sky in front of her, so close that she felt like it could reach out and touch it. Fluttershy hovered there for a long moment, lost in the beauty and warmth that was the moon. From down below she hadn't noticed it, but the moon gave off radiant warmth that, even though it wasn't as strong as he remembered from the warmth of the sun, owned a mysterious, comforting feel to it. Truth, she hadn't realized the feeling had been there all along, but rarely did any pony notice, since it was always competing with the sun's warmth.
Rarity, you have to see this,
She called out. A moment away, no answer came out. Quickly, she turned her head to look in the basket, only to find Rarity slumped over the edge, unconscious. Fluttershy had ascended too quickly for Rarity to catch her breath in time. Sinking off her amazement from the moon, she hastily made her way to Cloudsdale. She knew that with Rarity unconscious, it would be easier for her to conserve oxygen at such high altitudes. But Fluttershy felt it would be safer if they got to the lower altitudes of the weather-controlled Cloudsdale as quickly as possible. Rarity rose to the relaxing rhythm of Fluttershy's wing beats. Off at the horizon, she could see the illuminated city of Cloudsdale. A thin layer of high-altitude clouds above obscured the moon, leaving a ghostly glow all around her. She sat up in the cart, carefully shifting her weight so as not to disturb Fluttershy's concentration. Crisp air felt comforting on her face as she scanned the horizon. Whistled in the airs and flowed through her mane as the moon's glow bounced off of every cloud, painting a picture of unrealistic beauty that was such as it could only have come out of one of Rarity's cheesy romance novels. Fluttershy turned her head to check on her passenger, as he did so every so often during the flight.
Oh my, you're awake, she squeaked. We're almost there. You're making good time.
Ugh, what happened? How long was I out? Rarity asked wearily.
Well, the storm got so bad I didn't know what to do.
Fluttershy nervously recounted.
So I went up, but I guess I went too fast. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
She pleaded. Fluttershy, darling, we are okay and that's all that matters.
I'm very proud of you, in fact,
Rarity said, trying to comfort her.
You handled yourself exquisitely. But I must ask, how long was I out? Maybe about an hour or so,
She responded.
We're a little bit early, but if you want, you can wait for Skulu at the wonderful training grounds.
Yes, Fluttershy, I would love that very much. As she continued to fly, Rarity began to feel a sense of pace. Skulu's insight would certainly lead to a reunion with her sister. All her fears and worries seemed to dissipate the closer they got. The cold, thin air had helped clear her mind. Rarity knew she could avoid all this by simply returning to her old time. She had the utmost confidence in Twilight being a way to find a way back. But something else drove her to pursue her sister. She didn't quite understand it, but it was almost like instinct to protect her younger sister that she had raised for years. Rarity had given Sleepbell all the love and affection she could give, teaching her right and wrong, caring for her health, and even teaching her lessons about life. Motherly instinct is what she called it. Sure, she couldn't feel the hole her mother left when she had passed, but Rarity did try her best to be the mother her sister deserved. As they docked to the station, they tied the cord to a wooden platform, suspended by two large balloons. Solid objects had to be stored like this in Cloudsdale for obvious reasons, but they had often hidden the balloons in layers of clouds. Rarity took a moment to remove her horseshoes before exiting the cart. Carefully, she focused on them as her horn began to glow off a pale glow. After a few seconds, she finally released the spell, revealing 4 horseshoes floating in the air. After retrieving them, she put them on and carefully lowered herself from the wagon, testing the stability of the clouds with one hoof first, then another until finally she stood atop the clouds. Together, Fluttershy and Rarity walked towards the facility. The structure was enormous, Romare-style columns towering in the entryway as they entered the doors. They were greeted by a powder blue Pegasus wearing a blue with yellow pinstripe business suit, clearly paying homage to the Wonderbolt's uniform. On his lapel was a pin of lightning bolt wings that flared out from both sides. His thick back blue mane had streaks of gray, shaped like lightning bolts, spawning from his scalp and floating to the tip of his mane. This seemingly unnatural arrangement appeared to be more of a fashion statement than natural graying with age. "Welcome, ladies, to Wonderbolt Aviation Academy," he cheerfully welcomed. "Headmaster Soren, at your service. What can I do for you?"
Charmed, Verity politely responded. My friend and I were here to have a word with one of your students. Skitty precisely.
He stood there a couple of seconds without answering, eyeing Rarity up and down curiously. "How old are you? You're not Pegasus," he responded dimly.
Oh, this, well, you see, is a powerful spell. Very complicated.
She lied.
My name is Verity, and I'm here because Skitty is an old childhood friend of mine, and I would like to pay her a quick visit if I may.
Rarity was lucky that her element was in honesty, because he'd be filing some unspoken law of the universe for fabricating so much to him. "Well, Verity," he muttered, "I'm sorry to disappoint you, but our students run on a very rigorous schedule, and visitors are strictly limited."
I'm aware, but you see, I have been given explicit permission by Rainbow Dash herself,
Verity explained.
I was supposed to meet her at Shepard's shop.
"I'll have to fair fight with her, but if everything checks out, I'll allow you to wait in the mess hall for her." He quickly turned and headed off to his office. Verity wandered around the lobby, admiring the architecture and the many decorations that adorned the walls. The ceiling was towering above with traditional Cloudsdale architecture. Large columns connecting to the sloping archways, and the walls were paintings of ponies wearing old aviation caps and goggles. As she wandered around the room, she noticed the paintings got older, some dating back hundreds of years. As soon as she passed the door, she noticed that the paintings were arranged to find the newest and oldest would meet at the entrance. Right in front of her was a painting of her dear old friend Rainbow Dash, painted to look fierce yet commanding. Randy was just as surprised as he was able to sit still long enough to get a painting done. Back in her own time, she couldn't even get her to sit still for a photo. Randy's attention drifted past the paintings of Spitfire, then the captain, before her covered full circle, making gazes once again with Headmaster Soren. "Amazing, huh? I never did get a chance to get my hands on Mug up there. My captain was just too good," he said as he shook his head in reminiscence. "Well, I just spoke with Captain Dash, and you check out. If you follow me, I'll show you to the mess hall. Skulu's class ends at 12:30, so she should be down there in a couple of minutes." They turned the corner, past 2 double doors, into a large room with tables lined up neatly in rows.
It seems like everybody in the cafeteria is singing. Stand up, hit the ground, let you.
"Oh, apparently that's tradition with cafeterias. Who knew?" "Here we are," he said as he waited by the door. "If there's anything you need, don't hesitate to ask." Before he left, he winced and moved his hub to his face, as if the nervous phantom energy he received years ago. "That's odd," he thought as he turned to continue out the door. Rarity waited with Fluttershy impatiently, as the minutes slowly ticked away. The suspense was killing her. It would have helped if the room had any interesting features, but it was the dullest room she could ever imagine. The tabletops were off white, just like the floors and walls. Firelight could have helped her to pass the time, but her voice was overpowered by even the low hum of the hear. However, only moments before Rarity descended to sanity, bodies slowly began to trickle into the cafeteria. It was hard to tell any pony apart, since each wore the same blue uniform. Uniforms resembled the prep school's button-down shirts, only they wore yellow name tags and recommendation bells pinned to their shirts. There were many ponies filling the rooms, many more than Rarity had expected. After scanning each of the faces, she suddenly saw the orange mare she was looking for. She had changed a lot since Rarity had disappeared, not just the way a filly grows into a mare. She was a fairly attractive mare, if Rarity did say so herself. Her mane was fastened into a bun, but she could tell she had let it grow out considerably since she was a filly. Her face glowed with beauty, but her eyes were as sharp and fierce as ever. She was certainly not how Rarity expected her to turn out, especially considering who her role model was.
Scootaloo!
Rarity called out, leaving her hope to get her attention.
It's me, Verity. I must talk to you. Verity!
Scootaloo hollered, surprised to see her.
I thought you were dead. What happened?
It's a long story, she replied, hinting at Scootaloo's lack of time.
Oh, I see. What's up? What do you need to talk to me about?
It's about my sister. Somebody said that you... She was interrupted by a hoof being pressed against her mouth rather forcibly.
Shh, we can't talk about that here,
Scootaloo nervously said, as her eyes darted around to see if any pony was listening.
Follow me. We can talk about this somewhere more secluded. Wait here for the sign,
Reggie said as Scootaloo led her towards a rear door in the mess hall. She followed her as they carried her out into the outdoor plaza. There were a couple of benches around a circular plot of clouds, as well as a few columns thrown out for decorative purposes. Scootaloo scanned the area for any signs of life, finding none.
Okay, you were saying? City Belle, I heard that you still talk to her.
Rarity blared out as quickly as she could. I need to find her.
How did you know?
She asked nervously.
Look, I'm not supposed to talk to somebody like her.
What do you mean, like her?
A fugitive. I could get Cadell the Wonderbolts for collaborating with a known felon. A fugitive?
Rarity shouted with no regard for Scootaloo's concerns.
Keep your voice down,
Scootaloo whispered, once again shoving her hose into Rarity's face.
What does she do?
Look, she began. A sullen look came over her face. I'm really sorry, but I really don't want to be the one to have to tell you this. Just believe me, she's in a lot of trouble. I really need you back.
I helped her all I can, even though the most I can offer is down advice and friendship. But you're all she talks about.
Even if you can't help her legally, she would be really happy to see you. Scootaloo reached into one of the pockets of her bag and pulled out an envelope.
Look, I kept this, but I destroyed the letters, because I'd rather not get caught with them. But this has a return address on it.
As she said as he handed Rarity the envelope. Asking the envelope from her grasp, Rarity examined the address.
1133 Whitetail Creek. That's right near Puttyville. I've never been since. I can't really get time to leave Cloudsdale, you can probably guess. But all the letters come from here, and that's where I send mine.
Scootaloo said as she closed her bag.
If you want to find your sister, it's probably your best bet. You gotta promise me something, though. Anything. After all, I owe you for everything you've done. Promise me that you will tell any pony about me and her, Scootaloo pleaded. She's my friend, but I'm risking everything I've worked for my whole life just to talk to her.
Rarity quickly nodded as she moved closer to Scootaloo. For one quick motion, she wrapped her hose around her, hugging her tightly as she could.
Thank you so much,
she cried out. Scootaloo stood in Rarity's embrace, slightly embarrassed to be caught off guard even as a Wonderbolt. Slowly, she lifted a hoof and slightly patted Rarity on the back.
You're welcome,
she replied awkwardly. As soon as she felt the embrace loosen up, she backed up quickly.
Look, Rarity, I gotta go. I can't be late to my next class. Good luck finding your sister. Will you tell her hi for me? I will.
Rarity watched as the young mare flew off towards the campus, before turning back out to meet up with Fluttershy. Upon entering the mess hall, Rarity was greeted by the sight of one poor yellow mare surrounded by stallions, trying to impress her with stories of daring and dangerous flights.
And that's when the Griffin slashed my side. But you know what I did?
The brown Pegasus bragged, pausing for dramatic effect.
I poked him in the side at Mach 1.
Oh my, she fluttered out, thinking interest. That's frightening.
Fluttershy managed to duck her head lower as she rubbed her hose nervously.
Oh, there you are, Fluttershy!
Rarity called out, coming to her rescue.
You're late for your appointment, remember? Hurry!
She exclaimed, looking positively cheerful as she dusted the baby bunny. She quickly rose from her seat and rushed over to her indigo maned friend.
Thank you, fellas, for looking after my friend here.
She called out as she led Fluttershy to her nearest exit. Rarity was in quite the rush to get back to Plainville. She had raced her way back to the wagon and already been sitting in it when Fluttershy finally caught up. Fluttershy, on the other hand, was not so anxious. Rarity hadn't winced at how much effort and pain she went through just to get her to Clydesdale. She wasn't quite prepared to make the trip again in such a short period of time. Of course, Fluttershy would never directly voice her concerns. She gratefully stretched herself back into the reins, flapped her wings in an attempt to get them warmed up.
Are you sure we should leave so soon? I mean, most people isn't there.
Fluttershy nervously squeaked.
Maybe we should just wait or something? Nonsense! I don't want to miss an opportunity like this,
Rarity tried to explain.
If she isn't there, I'll simply wait for her, no matter how long it takes. But maybe we can find out more from,
Fluttershy stared, trying to come up with a possible source of information.
Rainbow Dash. Maybe she could tell us about Sleepville. Fluttershy, Toss has already helped us, remember?
Fluttershy cocked her head, raised an eyebrow at her.
Is there something bothering you, dear? It's just because I really need your help for this.
Rarity unwillingly interrupted, unable to hear Fluttershy's timid voice.
You know I hate to put so much pressure on you, but he's the only pony that can help me right now.
Fluttershy's fate was sealed. She knew she couldn't voice her opinion against her friend's desires, no matter how much she didn't like it.
Well, okay. If you insist,
She winced.
I'd be happy to help you.
She took her stance and slowly started to flap her wings. But once again, she lifted off the ground. When she felt confident in her strokes, she slowly began to take flight, once more returned on her perilous journey. The skies from Clydesdale were really out of control. With the weather factory shut down, most of the residents lost their jobs. In order to reduce unemployment, the mayor created a campaign to Princess Luna to give ponies jobs to keep the skies clear all over Equestria. Very simple plan, successful in that. With employment nearly at 100%, Clydesdale was able to experience a prosperity they hadn't witnessed in centuries. Most of the unemployed were able to stay in Clydesdale, but many had to move to surrounding towns and cities for their new jobs. Luckily, they were able to maintain their status as Clydesdale citizens under the terms of the proposal, so all the taxes went back home. It was a shame to leave the safety of Clydesdale so soon. A few miles out, they started to experience heavy winds, followed shortly by sleet and hail. Rarity tried her best to shield them from the onslaught, but she couldn't keep everything out. Fluttershy was not faring so well. She was exhausted from her round trip, and occasionally would drop several feet before regaining control of her flight. She was frightened.
What if I can't make it? It's still so far away, and I'm already so tired. Rarity will be so disappointed in me.
Fluttershy began to feel tears freezing on her cheeks. She tried her hardest to force her way through the wind. Her lungs stung with every breath she took. But no matter what the pain, she would try her best, if only for her friend's sake. Fluttershy had no idea how long he had been flying. For all she knew, she felt like she could have been flying for hours in circles. Her mind was just as clouded as the sky as the pain swarmed her body. Her wings had begun to ice over. With every flap, the ice would break off and cut into her tender flints.
So, I will make it!
She told herself. Mother Nature was determined to prove her wrong. A sudden powerful gust of wind caught her wings, sending her reeling back. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't bring them back up to her side against the wind. However, she truly couldn't have fought the wind. The sickening pop that was coming out tried to confess her with that. A surge of pain radiated across her right side, causing her to almost black out. Together, Fluttershy went tumbling down hundreds of feet through the air. Reaching out for her friend, Rarity matched her close and wrapped her hose around her, bracing for impact. The force of the fall, cushioned by a thick layer of snow, caused Rarity to lose her breath. Together, they tumbled across the wasteland until the force caused her to lose her grip on her friend. After tumbling and crashing through the snow and ice for another couple of yards, she finally came to a stop. Her body ached, but she was all right otherwise.
Fluttershy!
She called out against the wind, voice overpowered by the ghostly howl. She wearily wandered back in the direction she had tumbled from, hoping to find her somewhere along the path she had carved into the snow. Before long, she came across a point where she could see a secondary path in the snow. She quickly took off in the direction before coming across a yellow and pink mass lying on the ground. Her body was bruised and inflamed, and her right wing hung loosely from her back.
Oh my goodness! Fluttershy!
Rarity cried, crouching down next to her. She quickly scooped her up, leading her to the nearest cover she could find, carefully resting her down against a tree. She looked for any sight that could lead back home. Rarity's only faded into white in all directions.
Rarity.
She stood way down.
I'm sorry. I couldn't. No, don't say that,
Rarity shouted.
it's not my fault. I'm sorry.
Rarity desperately looked back to the horizon, hoping to catch a glimpse of something that she missed before. Sure enough, in the distance, just barely inside her range of visibility, was a small structure. Quickly scooping her friend back up and over her shoulder, she rushed over it with a limp. As it became clearer, she noticed it was a shack, nestled beside a frozen lake. Amid knocking, Rarity burst through the door and led Fluttershy to a couch that rested against the wall. She gently lowered her battered friend down to rest. She was caught up attending to her friend. She didn't notice the figure walked up beside her.
What are you doing here?
She spoke through clenched teeth. Rarity reeled back before catching a glimpse of a certain pink pony.
Oh, Pinky, it's on you,
She said in relief.
I need your help. Fluttershy's hurt.
Pickamia looked down at the doll. She was hoping and expecting to give her advice.
You should help her.
The Twilight Doll spoke to Pickamia.
She's hurt. You need to do something.
Rarity anxiously eyed Pickamia, who was frozen in thought, staring into the eyes of her doll.
Well?
Another long moment of silence. Pickamia looked up at Fluttershy, down to her hanging wing. With her free hoof, she grabbed the limp appendage and forcefully lifted, causing Fluttershy to scream in pain, as if only as loud as he could expect her to.
Pinky!
Rarity screamed.
What in Celestia's name are you doing?
She tried to grab Pinky's hoof to remove it from the pony's writhing ring. Pickamia forcefully shoved Rarity back, gripping the limp wing.
I'm helping her, just like Twilight told me to.
One quick motion, she pushed the wing back into its socket with a sickening pot. Fluttershy's quiet screaming had stopped, replaced by a short gasp as her jaw hung low and her eyes widened in sudden shock. After a moment, she dropped her head and fainted. Rarity rushed back over to the unconscious Fluttershy and shook her head, trying to wake her up.
Fluttershy, are you okay? Please answer me.
Rarity pleaded.
What have you done?
She screamed, turning her attention to Pickamia.
I helped.
Pinky responded, before turning back to sit at the table in the center of the room. Rarity turned back to Fluttershy, who had broken into a cold sweat. She held her hoof and gently dabbed her forehead with a handkerchief. Despite all the pain she was in, she looked at peace, which helped put Rarity slightly at ease.
I'm so sorry, Fluttershy.